Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Empowered Aging. I'm your host, Dr. Elise Snipes. Today, we are talking about meaning making and reframing life regrets. Most everybody has regrets. However, regrets occurred in the past. You cannot change the past. You can learn from it. You can grieve whatever you're regretting. You may even be able to make amends if you regret something you did to someone, for example. But you can't change it. It's done. As we age, we also start looking for meaning in our lives. What was our purpose on this earth? Or what is our purpose? If we're, younger, we may be trying to figure out what is the meaning of life? What is the purpose we have on this earth? And why did certain things happen? The good things as well as the bad things. In terms of dealing with regrets, the first thing we need to do is reframe them. Accept that it happened. Whatever it was, it happened, it's done. Examine it with fresh eyes. What were the facts in that context at that time? Which is kind of a variation on the normal fit cat. But examine it and figure out, what did that event mean? And am I assuming things about that event that are incorrect? Am I making judgments about myself or others based on that event that are incorrect? And am I safe now? What did you learn, or what strength did you develop due to the experience? A lot of us have been through very challenging times, and it was unpleasant, to say the least, when we were going through it. However, we also learned ways to cope. We learned that we were stronger than we thought we ever could be. We learned which people we could count on. So there are things that we can learn. There are things that emerge from even some of the darkest moments that we have. Explore what you hope to accomplish with whatever the behavior is, and how you can accomplish something similar now. When I talked in other videos about how when I was younger, our family, we weren't close. We would call each other on holidays and birthdays, and generally when there was something wrong, but very rarely called each other other times. And I regret that. And I started regretting that, but it became very poignant after my dad died, and then even more poignant after my mom died. And I was like, you know what? I don't want that for my relationship with my kids. I regret not having a closer relationship with my parents. Can't change it. They're both dead. But I can learn from it. And in the relationships that are important in my rich and meaningful life, I can make sure that I do better. I had the intention of going to medical school, but that wasn't in the cards. And part of that, a big part of that, was because of choices that I made. And do I regret them? Yes, I do. And I recognized that there was other stuff based on the facts in that context at that time. There was other stuff going on that was keeping me from being able to do what I needed to do to get through med school. But that's okay, because I found that I ended up being led on a different path, which took me into psychology, and this is a good fit for me. I wouldn't want to be working 30-hour shifts. I watch medical shows now like Grey's Anatomy, and I think, you know what? That doesn't even look remotely appealing. That looks pretty miserable. So in a way, I'm grateful that my life took a different turn. Getting angry at somebody, and this can be a regret that you had from something you did this morning. Again, you can't change it. You already got angry with them and bit their head off. Okay. And what was going on at that point in time? This morning, I got up. I hadn't even made my coffee yet, and my husband was running around like a chicken with his head cut off, trying to talk to me and do things, and, this has to be done. And I'm like, honey, not yet. Haven't had the coffee. Just can't do it. And I was a little bit terse with him, but And I regret it. And I apologized for it. And looking back on the facts in that context at that time, he knows good and well that before I have my first cup of coffee, or at least before it's made, just give me some space. We've been married for almost 30 years, so this is not new to him. I'm not excusing my behavior, but I'm recognizing. And I brought it up to him. I'm like, honey, you know when I really need like 5 minutes after I wake up before you start with all this other stuff. What did I learn, or what strength did I develop due to that experience? I got angry. I recognized it. Next time, I'm going to take that deep breath that I talk about, and I'm going to tell him, back up a little bit. Give me 5 minutes, and then I can listen. Explore what you would hope to accomplish with that behavior and how you can accomplish something now. Well, getting angry at somebody, obviously, we're trying to defend our space. And what I want to do is be able to do that assertively. With my career, what I wanted to do was help people. Well, I'm helping people now. Not in the same way, but I'm helping people. So again, do I regret it? Yes, there are parts of me that do have regrets that I didn't accomplish that goal, because I don't like letting myself down. But I don't think that's where I was meant to be. And then holding a grudge. You can get angry and hold a grudge about something, but then you end up regretting it later because it drove a wedge between you and your sibling or you and your best friend. Recognizing again, whatever that situation was that you're holding a grudge about, what are the facts in that context at that time? What led to that happening? And what are the facts in this context at this time? Is that person still doing the same thing? If so, you probably do need those boundaries. But if not, being angry for something that they did to you back in high school probably is not a good use of your energy. Holding a grudge means you're holding on to that anger. And there's a part of you that is just sucking energy to stay angry and resentful. Almost every experience has both good and bad elements. We live on a farm, we've got pets, I've done animal rescue for years, and I love animals. I hate animal hair. I don't like having animal hair on the floor, on the baseboards, but we've got it everywhere. I wouldn't change it for the world. Yes, I dislike it, but I can't imagine my life without my pets. My children, love them to death. But there were times that they were challenging, but I wouldn't trade them for the world. Yes, they gave me a few extra early gray hairs, but I wouldn't trade them for the world. We embrace the good with the bad. When you have a trauma of some sort, it is horrific. It leaves you feeling unempowered and unsafe. Once you process that trauma and you feel safe and empowered again, you can recognize and embrace the fact that you made it through. You can embrace the fact that, other things could have happened. It could have been worse. You can embrace the fact that you now are stronger than you were before. I have a friend who had a heart attack, and, it was devastating. He had to have quadruple bypass surgery, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's huge. He was athletic, he was, working, he was always very active. But the heart attack really opened his eyes and made him realize, number one, he needed to start listening to the doctor and eating better and taking better care of himself. But he also realized that he was spending a lot of energy at work and not paying attention to the other things that were important in his rich and meaningful life. And he said, you know what? There's always going to be stuff to do at work. There's always going to be stuff in my inbox. But there are things that I haven't done that I want to do in my life. So it really changed his perspective on how he was using his energy day to day. With dementia, it's a horrible diagnosis to get. It's devastating when you get it. And you can embrace the time that you have left. You can embrace the memories that you have now. You can focus on doing the things, because there are a lot of things you can do to slow the progression of the disease instead of staying angry and stressed out about when eventually it's going to progress. Chronic pain, same way. Having to move into an independent living facility or assisted living facility can be devastating for a lot of people. However, I've also talked to a lot of people that once they're there, they realize, you know what, this is not, I would have rather stayed in my home, but now that I'm here, I've got people cleaning for me. I've got people making my meals. I've got, everything I need pretty much right at my doorstep. And it's so much more convenient. And loss. Anytime we have loss, it's painful. And when we feel that pain, it also helps us recognize that we had something good. And we can choose to focus on the loss, or we can choose to focus on the good times. And yes, we need to grieve the loss. I'm not saying you just automatically let it go and focus on the good things. What I am saying is, in addition to grieving the loss, focusing on the good times. When my grandmother died, we had a wake after her funeral. I don't think I've laughed so hard since then. All the stories they were telling about Grandma and all the adventures that she had had. And my grandfather was very intent on not focusing on the last couple of years where she struggled so difficultly. She struggled so much with cancer, but to focus on the prior 67 years that really gave meaning to her life. When you look back over yesterday, what are your regrets? What was the meaning of that behavior? Why did you do it? Behavior is communication. So what were you communicating? What regrets can be addressed? And what regrets can you learn from to be a better version of you tomorrow? When you look back over your life, what are your regrets? How did that experience make you the person you are today? What did you gain from it, if anything? And what can you do now to use your energy and use your time in the present to move forward toward being the person that you want to be for however long you've got left? For more tips and tools, please make sure to subscribe and also click that like button to help spread the word about these videos.